Greetings and salutations, everybody. Dave Duford here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic morning. It's December 3rd, 2019, and we're back with another installment of our role-playing training session. So what we're going to do today is specifically focus on the fundamentals of appointment setting as well as door knocking your leads. So last time we focused more on objection handling and the closing process. Now we're going to kind of deal with the same kind of scripting process when we door knock our leads, no matter what we're using, as well as calling on the phone to set appointments. What do you need to say? How do you progress each of these prospecting attempts to what ultimately what we want is a booked appointment? So while I'm waiting a few more minutes for everybody to jump on before we start going right into the role play, a couple of refreshers as to what the purpose of our attempts to door knock and appointment set and prospecting really are. The key thing in the strategy that we employ with door knocking, appointment setting, our main focus, our main goal is not to sell the product. It's to sell the appointment. You see, there's a level of psychology that goes on when you meet with a stranger where many people put up token resistance to having you come in and speak with them. Now, not everybody's going to let you in, of course, but some of those people who otherwise would initially be a little resistant, deep down know they really need to have this coverage or are really interested. And by learning how to rebuttal those objections, you're going to convert more of those leads, those attempts, into actual sit-down presentations. So it's important to understand that your job is not to sell the product at the door or to sell the product over the phone. There just isn't enough information at those points in time to give a prospect accurate information as to what your plan does, how it works, and so on and so forth. So it's really important that we focus on understanding that what we're going to teach and learn today is all about getting the appointment now or tomorrow or whenever, and using that appointment to sell the deal. The last point I'll make here before we get started is that with this approach, you have to be objective in what you want to accomplish, in the sense that you have to ask for the appointment. This is probably the biggest thing that most agents forget, is they go through this script and end up not asking for the appointment. So just to refresh your memory, the way we ask for an appointment, if you're over the phone, is how would 2 o'clock or would 10 work better tomorrow? You give an alternate choice and get in. And then it's a yes decision, not a yes, no. If you're at the door, you want to get in now. Does that sound good after you say your script? Or can I come in? Sounds better too. And if they say no, you pivot to setting an appointment later that day or the following day. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. I think that's important fundamentals to the philosophy of how I teach the appointment setting process. If you start to sell over the phone, you're going to find that, yeah, you may qualify some people. You may waste less time in the appointment, but you're going to miss out on opportunities. Our goal is to get as many people booked into appointments as possible and let the sales presentations do the work for us. Okay, Scott, you there? You want to, can you hear me, Scott? Trying to unmute you. It didn't work. There you are.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Let's run through this door knocking script, if you don't mind. And I'm going to play prospect, you play agent, and we'll just kind of do a basic scripting so everybody kind of knows what to expect, how it works, and then, address any concerns that we need to. So if you want to start by knocking on the door.
Oh, let somebody else go first. I want to listen first, okay?
You got it. All right. I'm going to run through the list here. So I got somebody here. It's 460232. Who is that? Can you hear me? It's not, I don't know who else is here. It's not Arun, Nelly, or Errol. It's the last person here. Yeah, I hear you now. Who is this? Okay. All right. Going through the list here. Errol, are you there? Do you want to do this, run through a script?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dave. Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Do you want to go through role play with the door knocking with me?
you want me to be the customer. So I don't think I have the script. I'm just getting started.
Yeah, let you can play customer. I'll play agent. I think that will be instructive too.
Okay.
So I'm going to start by knocking on the door, and then you just act like a prospect. Feel free to give me any objections you want to hear, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Or if I sound real good, just let me right in.
Okay.
So here we go.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, hey, are you Mr. Errol?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Errol, hey, my name is Dave Duford. Nice to meet you. Let me show you why I'm here today. I'm here because you had sent back this card requesting information about our state-regulated final expense programs.
Okay. I don't remember sending it.
Yeah, if you look down here, do you see where the signature is? Is that your signature?
I think my wife filled this out.
Okay, is she around right now?
No, she's not. She took the kids to school. She'll be back soon. But what's this about?
Yeah, it's about our programs for taking care of final expense coverage. People typically send it in because they don't want to be a burden to their spouse like yourself or to their children when it comes to funeral expenses. And what I can do is I can stop by later when she gets back from dropping the kids off at school and then explain this in a real quick 5 minutes. Is she going to be free? Would 2 o'clock or would 4 o'clock be better today?
Yeah, she'll be here at 2.
2 o'clock. Okay, I'll be here right at 2. If I'm a little late, it's because my last appointment was a little chatty, so give me up to like 2:30. But I'll see you around 2 o'clock to 2:30. Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So off script here, and Errol, thank you for playing prospect for me. This is a good example of really a bread and butter type of scripting. Okay. When I say bread and butter, what we're talking about is we show up and we introduce ourselves. I always try, you notice I did this, I was an attempt to show you to shake hands if at all possible. The nice thing about door knocking is that it allows us to communicate objections. It allows us to communicate better because we've got body language, we've got the words we use, the eye contact, the smile that we have on our face that a telephone doesn't have. And so the power in that is that you want to take advantage of as much communication potential as possible.
Okay.
So if you get the opportunity to put your hand out and shake, some people will, a lot of people will, a lot of people won't. Don't worry about it. Don't make a big deal about it. Just keep going. But again, the script here is I say, hi, are you Mr. So-and-so? Yes. Okay. And I tell them, hey, my name is David Duford. And if you notice, I immediately direct their attention to the lead card. I want them talking to me, of course, but I want to have them engaged. Okay. So I think by pointing out our lead card that you're going to get more people interested and engaged naturally. If you don't have this thing and you're just going like, well, you sent this card back and you don't have any evidence of it, people will start to be skeptical. Like Errol said, you're going to have people who don't remember sending the card back or requesting anything at all. And so you've got to be prepared to try to circumvent that by showing evidence of it. So let me address some things here with respect to how we would handle that if we were using like a Facebook lead or a telemarketed lead. Scott, you want to mute yourself? You have a question? Feel free to ask right now.
All of my leads are telemarketing leads without the cards. How do you handle that?
Yeah, good question. I'm going to address that right now. Have you looked at the leads yet to see if there's like a special, like a favorite color or hobby included on the lead?
There's a favorite color as well as there's a hyperlink where they can you can listen to the recording.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So here's how we handle that. It doesn't matter. First of all, scripting wise. Hi, my name is David Duford. The reason I'm here is because you sent back this card requesting information on final expense. If you did Facebook leads, hi, my name is David Duford. The reason I'm here is because you filled out a form requesting information on Facebook about our final expense burial insurance program. If it's a telemarketed lead, hi, my name is David Duford. The reason I'm here is that a couple of days ago, we called you and you asked us for information on our final expense program. So form fit the script based off of the lead. You don't need to do an entirely different lead or entirely different script. Just, think of it sequentially as a process and extract the information that's relevant and input the information that is based on how I described it. Now, what can you do to answer Scott's question to visually engage our clientele? So here's what I'd recommend. Easiest thing to do is to print off the list of leads that you got, okay? Make them into a spreadsheet. And then what you can do is then say, hey, the reason I'm here, Mrs. Jones, is that you can see these people who requested this information like you. You're right here. You said your favorite hobby was golfing and your favorite color is black. Most people request this information because they're looking for blah, 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 blah. So if you have the spreadsheet, and again, I'm not just, and then back to looking at me, I'm showing them like their head is here and I'm pointing it out what their name is, their address, their favorite color, and their favorite hobby. Okay. That is going to really increase the recall rate among clients, even if they don't remember. If their favorite hobby is really golfing, then they're going to be like, well, okay, maybe I did do something. I remember it, but maybe I did. Maybe there's a reason. That kind of starts that mental process that maybe this is something that I did and maybe I was interested in this actually. So make sure to use, of course, these hobbies and colors. And you're going to do the same thing with a Facebook lead. Facebook leads, typically the ones we use, are going to have, all of them have an email, and then all of them will have either a favorite color or a favorite hobby. If I'm door knocking the leads or appointment setting, the same rule kind of applies here too. If I'm door knocking my leads, I always make sure to reference their email. My name's Dave Duford. The reason I'm here is because if you see here, Mrs. Jones, you requested information back on, it looked like Tuesday at 2. You put your email was daveduford123@gmail.com. And most people do this because fill in the blanks. So by doing this, you're going to get people more interested in hearing you. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Because everybody's going to be skeptical at the door. They're going to go, who is this person? Why are they here? They aren't necessarily waiting for you to show up. And the time that you do show up unannounced, there's no expectation. That's a surprise. So they're going to be put on their defenses. So we actively have to incorporate this type of strategy to let them know we're friends. We're here in peace. We're here because you requested the information and we're just doing our jobs. So, and Scott, if you want to jump in and ask any clarifying questions, feel free to. Same for everybody else. If you just take yourself off of mute, and then I do not mind answering questions. All right. 1 second. Okay. Everybody's on mute. Okay, great. So once we show that, and now Errol said like, okay, I don't remember doing that. Again, I pointed out the signature on the card. So all the stuff I just taught, you can do the same thing to jog the memory. He said that that looks like my wife's signature. So you're going to be in the situation where, okay, do you want to talk to the person who did this, or do we want to continue this conversation with the spouse? I am of the persuasion that you should work to talk with this person who actually filled the card out above all else. They're the instigators to this whole thing. They're probably the ones with the real motivation. The other party many times aren't going to have any kind of idea of what's going on. Sometimes they will. But they may think, this is crazy. I didn't ask for this. Get off my front porch kind of thing. So if you noticed in the script, if you go back and watch the recording, you're going to see I said something to the extent of, okay, great. So your wife sent this in. Is she around to explain how this works to her or something like that? And he said, no, he's not. But what is this about? So again, he's asking me a question, right? This is a routine theme in every interaction with your prospects. Questions, right? Who's asking questions? The person who asks questions is in control of the conversation. So he's trying to take control of this thing, to get rid of me, qualify me, and not have to deal with this. So I say, I answer the question. I say, well, this is about final expense coverage. Most people send it back because they don't want to leave a burden to their loved ones in the form of a funeral expense. And why don't I do this? Then I go back on script, which was at this point is, she's not here. He also mentioned that too. She's out doing something. At this point here, I pivoted back to saying, oh, she's not here. Well, why don't I come by later when she's around? And I asked for 2 different times. Would 2 o'clock work or would 4 be better? So it's a yes, yes, close. Does that make sense, everybody? So when we do this, this allows us the ability to increase our chances of getting an appointment. Now, it's not perfect in this situation, right? You know, she's may not be back then. He may not have an idea of the things she's doing during the day, but it's a best fit attempt to get in front of the right person, at least at the door. And worst case scenario, you can always go back. But notice I didn't sell the product beyond explaining it. Most people send it in because they want to cover their final expenses. But I pivoted right back to my script of, well, let's just come back later when she's around, both of y'all, and we can talk about this. So again, what you don't want to do, and if you're new to this, don't do one-leggers. You don't want to go see one of the spouses and the other one's not there. Yes, there's exceptions to rules. Yes, you can sell one spouse when the other isn't there. But there are exceptions because there are rules. And the rules should be followed, especially in the start. It's always pitch both husband and wife, not one or the other. Because a good salesperson can do a great job, and you can have an enthusiastic buyer, and they say, well, let me talk to my husband about it. Sounds great. I love everything. Let me talk to my husband. Yeah, could have just avoided that. So I like for agents to just not do that to begin with. Okay, so let's talk about some objections here. Is anybody running into any objections? I'm going to let you guys volunteer some. Anybody run into any objections at the door when they door knock? I'm not sure how many of you have actually door knocked. That's okay if you haven't, because I'll jump in and answer. If anybody's got any specific ones, I'm happy to address them kind of in a scripted fashion. And you can unmute yourself or just type them into the chat. And I'll kind of wait for just a few seconds here to see if anybody's got anything they want me to cover specifically. Otherwise, I'll suggest some concepts. Okay. So when it comes to rebuttaling objections at the door, the most common objections that you're going to hear are, I've already got life insurance. That's a very common one. I'm busy. Which really isn't that serious of an objection. Let's see what else. Can you mail me the information? And I think that's pretty much it. Those are the ones that I hear a lot. It's important to know what to say and how to pivot off of this. Let's see. Anybody want to... Let's see. Is that you, Tina? Are you there today? Tina, you there? All right, let's go to the next one. I need a volunteer. Hey, Nellie, you want to play prospect with me?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you don't have to go through the script. I'll do the script for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do kind of like the same script we just did. But I want you to give me the I've already got life insurance objection. Like, oh, I already took care of this or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll start by knocking on the door, answer it just like you would. Imagine somebody come up to your door just like that. So here we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, are you Mrs. Nellie?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Mrs. Nellie, nice to meet you. My name is Dave Duford, and the reason I'm here is because you sent this card back requesting information on our final expense program to take care of your funeral bill. And my job is to deliver this information to you, to show you how the program works. There's no obligation or anything like that. All I need is 5 minutes to show you the details. Can I come in?
Well, I don't think I'm interested. I already have life insurance. on myself to
Glad
take care of
hear
my
that.
family.
A lot of the people that I meet with say the exact thing. They've already got life insurance, but the reason they meet with me anyway is because they want to know and make sure they've got the best plan for them. Kind of like getting a second opinion. All it takes is
So
5
what's the
minutes
difference?
to show you how this works. What you do with this information is entirely up to you. If you like it, great. If not, you can kick me out. We'll still be friends. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but what's the difference? What's the benefit of having both?
Are we on script here, or are we still? Are you asking a question off script?
Yeah, we're on script. There's something I would ask at the door.
Oh, okay, okay, good. So what's the benefit of? So when you say benefit, what do you mean of having both?
Yeah, what's the difference between the two, life insurance and finance expenses?
Yeah, that's why I'm here to explain it to you. There's a big difference, and some plans are perfect for people. Others have these fine print. You've probably seen the stuff on TV, like Colonial Penn. There's some crazy stuff with how these plans work. My job's just to show you how it works. What you do with this is up to you, Nellie. If, again, like I said, 5 minutes are up. If you like it, great. If not, no big deal. Does that sound good?
No, I don't think I have time this morning. Can you come back later?
Yeah, absolutely. So would 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock today work best?
4 o'clock would be better.
4 o'clock. Perfect. I will see you then. Nice to meet you, Nellie.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for playing CrossFit there. So that was a good example. So, Nellie, I'm just muting you. If you are muting, if you want to come back on and ask questions, feel free to. So, let's see. Somebody said, "Hey, Mike, what's going on? How many, if any, phone attempts at setting an appointment will we make before door knock?" Okay. The answer is none. I don't care if I've called or not, and they haven't booked with me over the phone yet or at the door yet, I'm going to prospect them. So like if I sit down Monday and I call through all my leads, and the one in particular we're talking about has not even picked the phone up, I'm going to see that person tomorrow. You're in a race to see your leads. These people may send another card back. They're getting multiple ones a month. So you've got to be the first person in the door. And if that means you got to bust in and do this kind of door knocking routine, 100% do it. So covering the door knock script here, this is good. This is a great example here. So again, when we rebuttal objections, what we're trying to do here is to sell the appointment, okay? A lot of the times people's objections aren't what they explain them to be. Let me try to better describe what I mean. Some people say, "Oh, I've got life insurance." It's like, and I say that like a knee jerk. It's like it's nothing. It's just, "Oh, I've already got this." I don't need to do another meet, and that's the objection. I don't need to do another meeting with some stranger salesman's going to come on my door and possibly bother the crap out of me about buying. So there's this initial like resistance, okay, that isn't necessarily based on what the client says. This is the reason we have to rebuttal, right? Because we have to get past that resistance to let these people know that we're not here to threaten them. We're not here to waste their time. We're here just to deliver information, and it's no big deal. And then they ask to come in. So Nellie said, "Oh, I see, I've already taken care of this." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." Or I said something like, "Congratulations, great." A lot of people, and here's the script. This is Nellie. The thing is, a lot of people that I see, excuse me, already have life insurance too. But the reason they see me anyway is because they want to make sure they've got the best plan and get a second opinion to make sure there's no fine print involved with their insurance. That's as marginal of an explanation as I'm going to give. So I'm answering their statement, "I've already got life insurance." And I'm telling them, think about this. The scripting is, "Hey, I hear that a lot." Third-party validation, right? You're not dumb for thinking this, is essentially the compliment we're making. But the reason people meet with me anyway, so now I give her the mindset of, "Oh, that is there." So a lot of people were like me, but they still met. And here's why. So it gives them a reason to logically, okay, this could make sense. Yeah, okay, not a big deal. And yeah, we all need second opinions, right? We're all older and we go to the doctors and we need to make sure we've got the best medical advice, right? So I kind of use that second opinion language to correlate, on some level with what they're already used to. So that's the logical aspect of the rebuttal. The next aspect of what we're trying to do is to emotionally or reduce their emotional resistance. This is the most important part of the script. All I need, so yeah, I totally understand, Mrs. Jones. A lot of people I've got coverage already say that, but the reason they meet with me anyway is because they want to make sure that they get the best possible plan for what they can afford and get that second opinion to make sure there's no fine print. Here comes the most important point. All I need, Mrs. Jones, is 5 minutes to show you how this works. What you do with the information is entirely up to you. How can I come in? How's that sound? However you want to say it there. So and then I may have added something like, sometimes I'll do this. It depends on the kind of interaction I'm getting from the prospect. I like using the line, hey, if you like it, great. If not, you can kick me out. We'll still be friends. You can show me the door. And I laugh a little because I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to be a human being, okay? I'll do that with the people who aren't absolutely stiff. That's kind of my thing, is if they're stiff, maybe not, but it's just a gut feel. But that whole routine there, that whole scripting is the most important point, because I thoroughly believe when it comes to rebuttaling objections that this is the most important point to why they object. They're just resistant to seeing a stranger, okay? Letting a stranger in their home, all of a sudden, unannounced, unprepared, puts people into a turmoil. So we have to be able to rebuttal that just as much. So there's the logical side and the emotional side of the rebuttal. Make sure that you close for the appointment right at the end. Does that sound good as a closing statement? Can I come in as a closing statement? Move the football up the field. Move the basketball down the court. Let's see. Does anybody have questions about that? You can chat or just come off of mute and ask me. We'll get a coffee break here. So this thing I just explained is like the template to all objection rebuttaling, really over the phone and in person. And I'm a process guy, and I believe that your job should be to learn this process and then kind of form fit it to whatever objection you're hearing. You may have to think ahead of time, of course, and you should. Okay, well, what if they say, do I need to mail it? How does that sound? How do I handle that? How can I justify that? We'll cover that in a minute. So there's got to be some kind of like knowledge in your mind of what you would use to justify a reason why to meet now instead of just mailing it, or whatever the situation is. But you'll learn that as you go through these trainings. And then the key is just to remember, this is process oriented. Objections really, I believe, are not what they seem. This took me a long time to really understand this as an insurance agent, as a salesperson. I'm a generally optimistic person, but we all kind of tell white lies. We all tell half truths, especially with strangers, and it's a defense mechanism. And you're not going to be any different than anybody else, or the prospects you see aren't going to be different than anyone else. So you got to understand that people say one thing but think another. And the reason they're not telling you what they feel is because there's a defense mechanism up, right? Like, I wouldn't tell a stranger my personal financial details. I wouldn't tell a stranger my social security number. That same kind of mindset is what a lot of our prospects have. So you have to read between the lines and understand why we're rebuttaling the objection this way. So I'm going to call on a few other people here. Hey, Jonathan, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to you want to practice the door knocking script with me, or do you want to play prospect with me and I'll go through the script?
I mean, I hopped in late, but yeah, I mean, I can be the I can do the door knock. I'll try. I'm really bad at acting though.
Okay. Well, we won't hold it against. Okay. So you play agent, I'll play prospect, right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to be ready for an objection rebuttal. I'll just say that. Or an objection. So go ahead and start by knocking on the door.
Knock, knock.
Yeah. Hey, hello?
Hey, is this David?
Yeah, I'm Dave. What's going on?
Hey, Dave. My name is Jonathan. I was here because you filled out a form on Facebook requesting some more information about life insurance. Listed your favorite color is blue. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite color is blue. I kind of remember filling something out on Facebook when I was,
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Looking at pictures.
You filled this out a few days ago. It's just my
Okay.
simple job to get this information out to you. It takes about 5 minutes to go over the information. Do you mind if I come in?
Wait a
now?
minute. What are you here to give me information on? I don't know.
This is about the burial insurance, the information that you requested off Facebook a few days ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I was hoping
Just
that
takes-
you'd just send me something in the mail.
Yeah, and we usually like to do that if we can, but the thing is we got a lot of different programs available, and so that's one of the reasons why they send me out to go over that list of options for you, find out what your needs and your wants are. Like I said, it only takes about 5 minutes to go over the information. Do you mind if I come in? Is now a good time?
Come on in. All right, perfect. So off script. Thank you, Jonathan. That script sounded good, by the way. Everything we want in there, a little different than maybe how I would say it, but fundamentally, conceptually, it hits all the right buttons. So the main objection there was, well, I thought they were going to mail me something. Or, it may be a little more direct and they say, please mail me something. And so what happens is that with this particular approach, you address the need. Again, we're thinking back to our process, right? We address their objection, but we transition it to, it's no big deal. All I need is 5 minutes. It's my job to do this. That kind of language to break down the defensive barrier. Okay. So I think, Jonathan, you said, how did you?
I started to stumble there. Yeah, I did.
What
I said is something I've never said before, so I don't know why I said it. but I said,
right now? It's a safe environment.
I said that we like to do that, but and then I went into what I normally say, which is I wish I could, but that's why they send me out, because that's why they send me out to meet with everybody, find out what their needs or wants are, find out what will fit their budget. No, I don't say that either. Why am I saying this stuff? All right, let me back up for a second.
Yeah, you're fine, man.
So, because normally I don't get that on a door knock of wanting to do it over the phone. Normally I get that question whenever, or that rebuttal when I'm booking appointments. So I say, I understand. I wish I could. It's just my job to get this information out to you. It takes about 5 minutes of your time, and then I try to book the appointment. So usually I don't catch that one at the door. I think that's why it's tripping me up, because usually at that point they're either pissed off I'm knocking on the door, or they're nice enough to try to let me in.
Right.
A lot of what I catch at the door is I'm not interested. I didn't do it. I've already got something, along those lines.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Which I try to agree with them and then just go right back in to try to get in the door.
Yeah. Well, the way you handled it, even if they've never done it before, sounded fine. And I think this is kind of the lesson here. Like, it matters less about your reason why to meet, and it matters more about diffusing the tension or resistance to a stranger sales event on the spot, unannounced.
I tend to get a lot of people too that won't go get the person that filled out the form. It's either a husband or a wife, or a son or a daughter, and like I knocked on one, last week or the week before, I knocked on their door, and this lady, so I'm running my leads on Facebook, and then also I bought some leads off Facebook running the same area at the same time. She filled out both leads. So I got 2. And I go knock on the door, and it's either her son or somebody, but he won't go get her. And he's like, she told you people not to come back. You guys have already been here. I said, no, sir, I'm sorry. She just did this, a couple days ago. That's why I'm here. He's like, she told you people she didn't want anything. I don't know why you keep coming by. She's not interested. And, he just, I asked for her again. And, he's like, it's raining. He's leaning out the side door through a fence and not willing to let me come into that fence or into the house or to go get the lady. So I think that tends to be some of my problems too, is that they won't go get the person.
Have you tried calling this particular lead?
I haven't tried calling them yet, no.
Okay.
This was back before I switched off the appointment setter.
Okay.
So I think the appointment setter had tried to call them, but I haven't.
Right. I mean, just what I would have done in that position. I think Michelle, you were using Michelle, right?
Yeah.
She does recordings of the call. I know it's hard to do. It's easy to say, oh, hindsight 2020, I would have done A, B, and C, but you're on the spot. It's raining. Totally get it.
Yeah.
If at all possible, I'd try to play the recording of the call. And say,
they didn't book the appointment at all. They didn't get a hold of the person. This was just a typical door knock.
Oh yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. They didn't get a hold of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those things where you might have to be relegated to calling. Okay. Mm-hmm. Some people are chronic form filler outers.
Yeah.
And
I figured that's maybe what this was.
I had a lady once that I took a guy on a ride along, and it was the first door knock we did. And she started yelling at us through the door. Who is it? And I said, this is Dave Duford, the insurance man. And she answered the door, and she's like, I told y'all never to show up again. Y'all call me all the time. I don't need any damn life insurance. And she was mad. But she wasn't mad at us. She was just venting.
Yeah.
And kind of just let her relax and get it all out like a therapist would, and then start to reason with her. And we actually ended up selling her. It was actually quite nice. She didn't have any kind of coverage. But my point is, it's like you're going to get a lot of that. A lot of that is, I think, Facebook oriented. Just because. Well,
it's funny too you say that, and not to try to knock the Facebook oriented comment down, but I had a Facebook lead that back in March. I actually sat down with the lady. She was only covered for GI. I couldn't close her. I did the typical pitch of something's better than nothing, but it was we're broke. We don't have the money. My son and daughter are supposed to help me with it, whatever. I did my first round of mail order, and she filled out a form. Right when I pulled down the street, I knew exactly who I was going to see. And I go knock on the door, and her granddaughter answers the door, like maybe 12, 13, and the lady just won't get out of bed to come see me. She says she's not interested. Just leave a card. She doesn't want to get out of bed right now. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to really be like, no, you need to tell her to get the hell up. So I don't know. I think that some people, like you said, are just habitual form fillers.
Yeah.
It's just what they want to do. Whether it comes in the mail or it's on Facebook, it's just, you're going to catch that, I guess.
Yeah, there's always a percentage of your leads that are chronic form filler outers. I had a lady that she sent back the card 5 times, like over the course of 4 years. She bought all 3 times and then lapsed all 3 times. And that was just on my leads. I couldn't imagine all the other leads. She's probably getting 6 or 7 or 8 a month. Like, how much replying is she doing? But it's just a part of this business model that is hard to avoid. But in regards to your concern with a gatekeeper is what this is.
Yeah.
You've just got to find another way in. You got to call them if you can't get them at the door. If I have a husband tell me to go to hell at the door, I'm not giving up on that. I'm going to call that, and I'm just going to answer, hey, is Mrs. Jones there? No, she's not here. What can I help you with? Oh, okay. This is about some information requests and when she can be back later, and I'll call. So you just kind of basically just redirect to, Okay, well, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her. Because the thing is, remember, like the son may not understand what the mom's doing, or maybe he does and he's trying to control her. You know what I mean? And and if you get to that particular person, a lot of the times, then that avenue in eliminates that a normal gatekeeper. So I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does.
No, it does. Yeah, makes total sense.
It is. You will have this to some extent with your leads, but don't give up. The point is, on a door knock or a call, don't give up on a lead if the person who answers is not the person who filled the form out and they tell you no. Okay. It's fine. The non-prospects telling you no. We're not concerned about people who aren't we're concerned about the people who filled the leads out. We want an answer from them. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so make sure that we keep that going there too. Do you have any other questions, Jonathan?
No, I'm good.
I appreciate you, man, on that. Thank you very much.
That's all good, man.
Okay. Any questions from anybody? Text or chat. So do something in the chat, and then do something in the chat. Just type in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and talk to me. Okay, I got a question from Errol. What do you do when people are home, but they seem to refuse to want to answer the door? How many times did you stop to go back? Okay, so a couple of techniques you could impose. Sounds corny. I, for years, heard how silly this sounded, but I think there is some merit to it. When you pull up at the door, if you're parking the car, as soon as you step out, look to that house and wave, all right? So what you have to envision is Mrs. Jones peeking out of the blinds. Who's that guy there? Hey, oh man, he saw me. Well, I better go answer it. So I think that allows you to answer the door, or get them to answer the door a little bit better. So there's that. Same thing would apply to the door knock. If you say you door knocked an apartment complex, I will always look, and I'll do this at all houses, always look straight into the peephole, right? The peek hole. So you can't see the person on the other side. They can see you. But what you can see is when a body moves in front of the light that's reflecting out of the peek hole. That's your indication that somebody's there. And that's when you should go, hey, what's going on? I see you. Answer the door. So make sure you do that. That does tend to help too. You noticed earlier on, I also, we started some of these door knock samples off with the door knock. I think how you door knock is really pivotal here. I want you to imagine yourself like you're the law and you're tracking down somebody, and you've got a warrant, and you're on a mission to get to these people, okay? And you don't want there to be any confusion that you are there to talk to somebody. So you don't want to door knock like this. I've had people door knock me at my house like that, and I'm like, did somebody just door knock? Or was it my kids, jumping around, or was it the pipes beating? It's like, you just don't know. But if you door knock, you want to door knock sometimes 7 times, sometimes 11 times. You want to use the edge of your knuckles here, okay? You want to beat the door down, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard? A 7, okay? So what I do sounds like this. Just like that. And what I believe is that an aggressive door knock like that captures the attention of the person behind the door. And it immediately sounds like something's up. I need to go answer it. It puts a bit of urgency on the door knock. What I don't like doing, what I don't like doing is, my wife came. She was like, what's going on here, man? Someone beating the door down. So what I don't like doing is the shave and whatever. It sounds like this. A whisk and a shave. It's some old-fashioned door knock. if I hear that, if our clients hear that, they know a salesman's there. I mean, that's a dead giveaway. So if you do that, don't beat the door down. I've had people tell me it sounds like I'm the police. And I'm like, yeah, you open the door. Thanks. So make sure that you're aggressive at door knocking. Oh, you do that? Yeah. Try doing it the other way. So Jonathan says, I do that. Dun, 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 knock. Try doing it the other way and see if you get any difference. Yeah, I was told it sounds friendly too. I don't think it's wrong. I mean, I don't know. I mean, these are minor things. I'm just telling you what gives me confidence and I think makes a difference. And it helps me be better at the door. Like I said, I have no way to validate this, with any sort of statistical analysis. If it works, good. The main thing is knock the door. Don't drive by and, give excuses why you can't. But just make sure you do it firmly. If anything, make sure it can be heard. Remember, our clients are half deaf, older, can't hear nothing, okay? And also, their doorbells are broken half the time. So don't rely on a doorbell. Knock, 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 okay? Firmly. That's the key thing. Errol, continuing here, how do we avoid problems with people on the do not call list? I know it's okay to door knock them. If I have a new lead, how does that work? Yeah, so a lead, by definition, is requesting information. It's an opt-in. So the do not call rules don't apply. So if somebody fills out a form on Facebook and includes their phone number, I'm not cold calling the guy. They requested me to give them information. It says that much. So I don't think there's a DNC violation there if there's a request for information and they included their phone number. Now, if someone says, don't ever call me again, take me off your list. Okay, well then take them off your list. Don't call them. Maybe you should door knock them. But definitely respect that if they ask for that. Okay, great. Any questions? Chat, feel free to type them up in chat or come off of mute and you can ask me. Okay, I think we covered most of everything we wanted to. So the big ones here, what do you do when they say, I already have life insurance? We covered that earlier. We covered, can you send me something in the mail, which is more of a appointment setting objection more than anything, but it will come up from time to time. We covered the I'm busy objection. That was kind of interwoven in the already got life insurance. Oh, I'm busy right now. The rebuttal to that, just to clarify, is fine. I work all day. I can come back at 5 o'clock, or would 8 o'clock be good? So it's just a real quick pivot. And I had said earlier, I'm busy is not really an objection. It's just people think, okay, I'm busy with this, and you work in 9 to 5, and you have to suggest some alternative times. And many people will set based off of that. So I think we covered all of that at the door. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. So the key thing, again, and summarizing here is, and I'll get your question here at the very end, Errol. The key thing here is to learn the process of this script. Memorize it, rehearse it in front of a mirror, participate with me on these role-playing sessions, and allow yourself to get comfortable with thinking on your feet. It's the repetition of something that eventually incorporates itself internally, where it becomes easier to execute on. And in the sales process, it's all thinking on your feet. We don't know what's going to happen. There's a random element to every single sales call that we do. But we have to have a track to run on, and we have to be able to recall our scripting and be able to deliver it as quickly as possible, as naturally as possible. So if you're getting started, you want to sit down, get the scripts off of the training website. They're all there. Memorize a script, rehearse them in front of a mirror, record yourself saying it on camera or on audio, do it in front of a spouse, friend, associate, somebody who will be receptive and kind of listening to how it sounds. And then just continue to improve it. Eventually it'll become second nature. Like all this stuff just flows out of me and naturally in a conversational manner. I don't think it sounds too terribly scripted. But even if it does sound scripted for you, please don't worry about that. I am not a our prospects don't know that you're sounding disjointed. You know, they're listening to what you're saying and just kind of like they're thinking about what you're saying and making a decision if they should do this. So don't go so hard on yourself. Just as long as you can get it done is the main thing. Yeah, I'll just real quick, I'll address your question anyway since it's good. I wear jeans and like a polo like this when I prospect in the field. You can upgrade from there as much as you please. I know a guy that does very well that he's in a 3-piece suit every day. I wouldn't do that. I know a guy that used to sell insurance in a Spurs jersey and gym shorts. And he wrote $500,000 that year. So I don't know how much of that was just myth or mythos. But yeah, you want to dress whatever you feel gives you the most confidence is how I would do it. Please don't be disoriented, disheveled. Tuck your shirt in. Don't be like a giant wrinkle fest. Like you don't have to be spot on, super ironed, perfect. But you shouldn't. I hear you, Jonathan. You shouldn't look like you just woke up and you're wearing the same clothes you went to bed with. So, okay. Any last questions? Last call? You can unmute yourself or type away. I'll wait for a few seconds just to address any last concerns here. I do hope that you guys got some value out of this. We're going to be doing these role playings every Tuesday and Friday. And with different topics, a lot of this is going to be focused on the fundamentals. So you'll hear the same things over and over, but I'm going to call on you, get you engaged, and help you rehearse and recall this stuff on the spot. So come prepared to each of these. This Friday, since we didn't get really to the appointment setting on the phone, we'll spend time doing that this Friday, where we just focus on appointment setting above all else. How to manage the phone, how to turn around objections. What if you hear this? What do you say then? Be prepared for me to call on you to help participate as well. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. If you got any questions or anything, just shoot me a question in the chat or an email or just call or text me. All right, guys, take care. See you.